Welcome to the Young Turks.
I'm Shira Lazar, joined by Cenk Uygur. Hello everyone, welcome to the Partners Project. I'm right now joined by Cenk Uygur, the man behind the Young Turks. Now, you've made this into the news station of YouTube.
We hope so. That's what we think. We got 380 million views, 23 million a month, and we call ourselves the largest online news show in the world, and I believe we are.
You're charismatic, you're handsome, you're dapper, you're hardworking. The only barrier that I can see between you and the king of all media is the pronunciation of this right here.
And thanks for having us in your studio. This is the first, I think, real studio we've sat in for the Partners Project.
Well, look, it didn't start that way. It started with a giant wooden desk with these huge mics.
You know, some people claim to be fair and balanced, but we actually try to be balanced here, and we don't even claim it. We just try to do it and let you guys decide.
You couldn't even see our face. We keep trying to make it better and better.
Where are you from originally? What's your story?
Well, I'm originally from Turkey. I grew up there till I was 8 in Istanbul, and then parents moved to New Jersey, and I loved New Jersey. And in the beginning, you miss, where you were from, but then America is the greatest.
And you were saying how they were a bit worried when you started all of this?
Yeah, I mean, my dad told me to go to business school. Undergrad, I went to Wharton Business School at Penn. He's like, great. And then he wanted me to go to law school. I went to Columbia Law School, great. And I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna take those diplomas, I'm gonna crumple up, throw them in the garbage, and I'm gonna do a radio show. He's like, no! So he was immensely worried. It being an immigrant family, you think there are only a couple of jobs in the world: engineer, doctor, lawyer, businessman. That's it, right? One of my great uncles back in Turkey asked me, so are you a palyaço, a clown? Is that what you do? I'm like, no, I'm not a clown. I do the news. He's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, if he watches the show, he'd be like, I knew he was a palyaço. He had to overcome a lot of that. And if you're going to do anything new and different and interesting, I mean, I have this goofy quote. Nobody ever got to be extraordinary by doing the ordinary.
That's a great motto. I love that. What does it mean to be a Young Turk?
It means keeping it real. We do two things with the show. Our oldest tagline was, we don't make the news, we make the news sexy. Okay, so we have fun with it, and whether it's the lighter stories, the pop culture stories, or the news stories, we make fun of it at least half of the time, right? But the other part, which is I think even more important, is that it's truth-telling. That's our main brand, right? So we're gonna keep it real with you. We don't do fake neutrality. Like CNN is scared to death of criticizing politicians, and especially the Republican Party, because they've been called liberal over and over again. They're like, no, everything's even, everything's even. Like, no, not everything is even. If the Democrats screwed something up, then it's not even. If the Republicans screwed something up, which unfortunately happens more often, right, it's not even. That's what it is.
Obama is now sometimes called a socialist by the right wing. But what would they have called Eisenhower?
So we're not going to try to snowball you, and people love that. I mean, it's not us as hosts or anything like that. It's the idea behind it. And the Young Turks isn't just the host or the show or everybody that works on it. It's the audience. It's an idea more than anything else.
So being that person that all these young people are watching for their news, have you ever thought of yourself as the Cronkite of this generation?
Why, of course I have. No, I mean, I never thought of it that way, but it's very flattering. And I think the younger generation is savvier. I think that's why they like our show. I think some of the older generation, unfortunately, believes what authority tells them too much.
Yeah, everybody be careful here. This is, it's tough to look at, to be honest with you.
Right, they're like, well, if it's on TV, it must be true, right? Whereas the younger generation is like, hell no. No, it's the opposite is true. So I think that's why they gravitate towards our show. And I hope I've earned their trust by keeping it real with them, and they see throughout the years that I'm giving them what I think is the reality and a real commentary that matches, their mindset.
Talk about being the granddaddy of YouTubers.
So I've been doing this same kind of show for 15 years. It's just YouTube wasn't around. In the beginning, the internet wasn't around. That's how old I am. I'm only 40, but like on YouTube, that makes me like, Grandpa Cenk, and so I'm the veteran, I'm the grizzled veteran of YouTube. And we were one of the first YouTube partners. We were probably the first because as soon as I got the contract, I read it myself, signed it and sent it in because I wanted to be first. And sometimes, since I'm old school, I'll have some old school opinions and we'll kid around and call me Grandpa Cenk.
Aw, gotta love it. But do you have teens writing in or commenting? You're informing all the youth out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's ironic because we got a show called The Young Turks. But I have that same sensibility. You know, in my mind, I'm still 16.
Yeah.
Like, I never outgrew that. I feel 16, I happen to be 40, but I think I caught the right place at the right time. I check emails and Twitter throughout the show, and I don't do, like, I try to stay away from the goofy, like, here's your tweet of the day because my producer told me Twitter's really hot, right? I actually use it, and so I'm like, oh, you know, John or whoever made a really good point, and I say, look, I hadn't thought of that, and John just said that on Twitter, you know, send it to our account, and then we talk about it a little bit, right? And it's just natural, it's organic.
You create a conversation, you're not scared to talk to your audience.
I try to read as much as I can, just to get a sense of where the audience is at, and if it's a good comment, I'll come and introduce a topic with it the next day. So we gave up a tremendous amount of money from Sirius to make sure that we can keep doing the show online. They said they wanted it exclusive, and we said, no, we have to have online video, otherwise no deal. And so we did, and we turned down their deal to be able to do this. And luckily, somewhat miraculously, it's paid off. But it's good to be first. You know, you get a huge head start, and so it's worked out great for us.
So it was Unserious. It was also live streaming online on the YoungTurks.com.
It was always on the YoungTurks.com, but YouTube makes it international television. And that's where the whole audience is. And that's another advantage we had. While people were putzing around with their own sites, we're like, no. YouTube is where you go. That's the town square for the whole world. I get recognized in Holland when I go there. I get recognized in London, etc., because people are watching all over the world. So YouTube took it to a whole nother level.
That goes back to the idea of how you're different than traditional news. What are you bringing to the table?
Right. Well, we bring to the table something that they don't have, which is that we can be honest with the audience. I mean, I keep going back to that. It seems like, well, shouldn't they all be honest to their audience? But they can't. You have to understand the structure, right? They have advertisers. They're part of giant media corporations. They need access to politicians, and they get criticized all the time. They're bureaucrats, so they get scared. They don't want to be criticized. We don't give a damn if somebody criticizes us, okay? And we're not going to get slowed down by any of that. And if you don't want to advertise with us because we tell people reality, well, then don't advertise with us, because we don't have the overhead they have. They're so scared that they're not going to be able to make enough money to cover their overhead, whereas we only build as much as we have, right? So if our audience likes it and we get this amount of money, then hey, great, then we hire someone new and we make the show a little bit better. But we don't have to be beholden to all those corporate sponsors or entities, and that gives us the freedom to tell people the reality.
No, the guy's a lunatic, man. It's just, everything comes back to, oh, the Marxists and the communists are around the corner.
But meanwhile, you're now working with MSNBC. Isn't that interesting?
It is interesting, which is a great organization, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just when it's time to run campaigns, they think you shouldn't get it, and then it's a convenient strategy for them. None of these people mean it. Ron Johnson isn't going to give that money back. Sharon Engel isn't going to get rid of that health insurance. Joe Miller's wife isn't going to give back her unemployment insurance. It's all one big scam they're running on the American people.
Well, how did that all come about?
No, seriously, all kidding aside, they're great. I mean, they line up with my politics, obviously. Maddow, Schultz, Dylan Ratigan. Now, Dylan Ratigan calls himself a conservative, but I probably agree with him more than anyone else. That's why I love that. It's not a matter of being left or right. It's a matter of, hey, wait a minute, these politicians, as an example in politics, they don't work for us. They work for the lobbyists, right? And Dylan says that, and I say that, and it doesn't matter whether you're left or right. And so if you got somewhere in the mainstream media that recognizes that and that fosters that attitude, well, that's great. That's a win-win. Then you get the power of their infrastructure without being weighed down by the nonsense rules that other companies have and other stations have. So I love working for MSNBC.
And the audience, I mean, do they recognize the show that you're doing on YouTube and how much of an audience you already have?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I would have never gotten the MSNBC job. I wouldn't even gotten through the door if it wasn't for our audience. Now, like, that's not a throwaway line. That's absolute reality because they sent emails, they got newspapers to cover the story, they did every part of it. And then eventually the head of MSNBC called me in and said, your army is too strong. They got inundated and they're like, well, if you're got this many listeners and they care this much, well, then we got to come talk to you. And then eventually I got more and more of an opportunity. And again, the reason I got more of an opportunity is because I got great ratings. And I got great ratings because of the TYT Army and because the people, you know, listened and etc. So everything I've gotten is because of our audience.
And the engagement is so strong.
Now they recognize that, MSNBC does, and they're like, No, don't stop YouTube. Keep going with YouTube. That's great because it's bringing in people. And that's great that they got that recognition.
So let's talk about the future of all of this. And a lot of people obviously don't know where news is going.
Well, I know where news is going.
Share the secrets, please, for everyone.
It's going to us. The majority of people under 30 get their news not from television, but from the internet. The other part of it is content-wise, they're going to come to our model because our model works and their model doesn't work. When CNN does vanilla news, where they don't actually tell you the reality, they just show you a bunch of pictures and smile and go, "Isn't everything great?" That people go, "No, everything's not great. You just had the senator who I know is a terrible guy who's totally going to get paid by the lobbyists on it. You didn't ask him a single question about that.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to watch that. That's no good, right?
It's not real.
Right. That's what brings the audience to us, and eventually CNN and others are going to turn around and go, "Oh my God, how'd they get all the audience?" CNN, your model isn't working. Your ratings are terrible. Watch, you won't change. Okay? Eventually, it's going to get to an equilibrium where we rise up and we're a major network, and they go down, and then they go, oh my, in the middle of that panic, they will begin to change.
Where will the Young Turks be in 5 years?
I really believe that we're going to be dominant, that we're going to dominate. We're already the largest online news show. I'm hoping one day we can be the largest news show, period. We already have a network. We're going to build out that network. We now have 5 channels. I'm hoping to have a lot more than that. And we want to be a brand that everybody associates with truth-telling. If it's a sports show or it's a news show, it doesn't matter. That's the same idea. And eventually we want to be at a place where if you turn on your TV or your computer or however you get your content, that you'll see TYT.
Thank you so much for talking to us today, inviting us into your studio. This place is so great. And for sharing all your thoughts on the future of this space and news.
Thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it.
And of course, we want to thank all of you for watching. We couldn't do this without all of you. And of course, stay tuned next week. We will be back with another Partners Project. Thank you so much to Cenk and the Young Turks. Subscribe to them right here. Subscribe to us right here. And stay tuned. Next week, we have a very special musical guest in honor of Grammys Week. Subscribe, and we will see you soon.